Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Tonight, we're going to be tackling 50 Kids Bedtime Stories, Volume 3, Dreamy Adventures for Curious Little Minds.
Nice.
And this is the third installment in this series, and
Okay.
I'm really excited to uncover what makes these stories tick.
Yeah.
Maybe you're here because bedtime stories hold a special place in your heart,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you're just curious about the magic they hold.
Yeah.
Either way, get ready to explore the world of dreamy adventures and see what hidden gems we can uncover.
Well, what I find really interesting about bedtime stories is that they're not just entertainment for kids.
Right.
Research has shown that they actually stimulate specific cognitive functions.
Yeah.
Like language development, memory, even emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
By listening to stories, kids are building crucial skills for navigating the world around them.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
I've always loved the way a good story can transport you to another world.
Right.
Speaking of which, the titles in this volume
Oh, yeah.
are pure magic.
Yeah.
The dreamy clouds that sang lullabies.
Huh.
The night the fireflies wove a bridge to the moon.
Wow.
The magic key that opened the dreamy sky door.
Mm.
Just reading them makes me feel like a kid again.
You know what I think is so interesting about these titles? They're doing a lot of heavy lifting. I think they create a sense of anticipation, spark a child's natural curiosity, and the book's introduction actually reinforces this by highlighting its goals, sparking imagination, inspiring wonder, promoting kindness. But I think what's really intriguing is how these simple stories might offer valuable insights for adults too.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Okay.
Let's dive into a few of these dreamy adventures and see what they're all about.
Right.
I'm starting with The Little Starfish and the Secret of the Silver Sea.
Okay.
It's about a starfish named Stella who's determined to find a magical pearl she believes will grant her wishes.
Oh, wow. So this taps into a very classic narrative structure.
Right.
The quest for something extraordinary. But what's really brilliant is how Stella's journey highlights the importance of intrinsic rewards over material possessions.
Okay.
She learns that the real treasures are the experiences and friendships she gains along the way,
Yeah.
not the pearl itself.
That makes me think about the times I've been so focused on a goal that I've missed out on the journey.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced something similar?
Oh, many times.
Yeah.
Maybe you were so fixated on like a promotion that you forgot to appreciate the learning and the growth you were experiencing along the way.
Right.
Yeah, it's a common trap. We often get caught up in the pursuit of external validation,
Yeah.
forgetting that true fulfillment comes from the journey itself
Right.
and the connections we make along the way.
Okay, next up, let's explore The Night the Moon Turned into a Waterfall.
Okay.
Just imagine a peaceful village
Yeah.
where suddenly the moon transforms into a cascading waterfall.
Wow. So what's fascinating about this story is how it encourages us to find magic in everyday moments.
Yeah.
The villagers, instead of being frightened,
Right.
embrace the wonder of this unexpected event.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we don't need to travel to far-off lands to experience magic. It's all around us if we just shift our perspective.
This brings me to something I've been trying lately.
Oh, yeah.
Mindful walks.
Okay.
Instead of rushing through my day,
Uh-huh.
I've been taking a few moments to actually appreciate the sunlight filtering through the trees or the sound of birds singing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much beauty we miss when we're not paying attention.
I agree. It's about cultivating a sense of awareness, of being present in the moment,
Right.
and appreciating the small wonders that often go unnoticed.
All right, let's move on to The Little Squirrel Who Found a Star Nest.
Okay.
In this story, Sammy the squirrel discovers a nest where starlings are weaving stardust to make the stars shine brighter.
Wow.
He joins their effort, and together they illuminate the night sky.
This story so beautifully highlights the power of collaboration and contributing to something larger than ourselves.
Right.
Even though Sammy is small, his efforts make a significant difference.
Right.
It reminds us that we all have the power to make a positive impact, regardless of our perceived limitations.
It's like that saying, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito.
Yes.
It's a funny but powerful reminder that even the smallest actions can have a big impact.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're all part of an interconnected web. And our actions, no matter how small, can ripple outwards and create positive change.
Okay, one last story before we move on.
Great.
Let's dive into Luna and the Glowworm Orchestra of Twilight Forest.
Wow, what a title.
It's a story about a glowworm orchestra struggling to perform because of a strong wind.
Okay.
And Luna, a brave creature, encourages them to shine even brighter.
So what's really fascinating about this story is how it emphasizes the power of believing in oneself and the impact of encouragement. Luna's belief in the glowworms is what ultimately empowers them to overcome their fear and shine their brightest.
Right.
It reminds us that we all have the potential to achieve great things, but sometimes we need a little encouragement from others to unlock that potential.
That's so true. I remember a time when...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember when I was working on this really tough project, and my colleague just gave me a few words of encouragement, and it made all the difference.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how a little belief from someone else can give you that boost and help you overcome those obstacles.
Speaking of obstacles, I've noticed that many of these stories feature characters who face challenges, but ultimately find ways to overcome them, often with the help of friends or through their own inner strength.
Yeah, you're right. And this brings us to another key aspect of these stories. I think the theme of resilience, like, for example, the Sleepy Zebra and the Rainbow Road of Stars. Zara, the zebra, she is initially hesitant to leave her familiar routine, but she eventually embarks on this journey that leads her to a magical road made of stars. And this journey symbolizes her willingness to step outside of her comfort zone and embrace those new experiences, even when it's challenging.
Yeah, it's like she's learning to trust her instincts and believe in her ability to navigate unfamiliar territory.
Exactly.
I wonder if this resonates with you. Have you ever had a time when you had to push past your comfort zone?
Oh, yeah.
And embrace a new challenge?
Many times.
Yeah.
In fact, I think one of the things I've learned in my own life is that growth often happens outside of our comfort zones.
Right.
It's when we challenge ourselves, face our fears, and embrace the unknown that we truly discover our potential.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the role of nature in these stories.
Okay.
I've noticed that many of them are set in these enchanting landscapes that seem to blur the lines between reality and fantasy.
You're spot on. Nature isn't just a backdrop in these stories.
Right.
It's an active participant, often imbued with these magical qualities.
Yeah. For example, in the dreamy river that sparkled with firefly dust, the river, illuminated by countless fireflies, becomes this magical, shimmering entity.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful image that captures the enchanting beauty of the natural world.
It reminds me of those summer nights when fireflies light up the fields, creating this almost otherworldly spectacle.
Yeah.
It's like nature itself is putting on a show for us.
Exactly. And it's not just about visual beauty.
Right.
Nature also plays a symbolic role in these stories. For example, in The Night the Clouds Turned into Castles. The clouds transforming into these majestic castles represents the boundless possibilities of imagination and dreams.
It's like these stories are reminding us that nature is full of metaphors and symbols waiting to be deciphered. It's like a secret language that speaks to our souls.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like nature is whispering secrets to us, inviting us to look deeper, to see beyond the surface, and to connect with that magic that surrounds us. This brings me to another observation. I've noticed that nighttime plays a significant role in many of these stories. It's not just a time for sleep. It's a time when magic comes alive.
Right.
When dreams take flight, and when the impossible becomes possible.
Absolutely. Nighttime often serves as a catalyst for transformation and adventure in these stories.
Yeah.
It's a time when the veil between the ordinary and the extraordinary things, allowing for these magical occurrences and fantastical journeys.
Right.
Take, for example, the night the fireflies built a castle of light. The darkness of night provides the perfect canvas for the fireflies to create their luminous masterpiece.
Right.
A castle that illuminates the meadow.
That image is so captivating.
It is.
It makes me think about how darkness can sometimes be a catalyst for creativity.
Yeah.
It's like when we're surrounded by darkness, our imaginations are free to roam and create their own light.
Precisely. And it's not just about visual creativity. Nighttime also seems to heighten the character's senses, making them more receptive to subtle sounds, faint scents, and the magic that's often hidden in plain sight.
Building on that idea, I've noticed that these stories often present magic in a subtle way.
Yeah.
Woven into everyday moments rather than being grand and over the top.
You're right, it's not always about wands and spells.
Right.
The magic often resides in simple acts of kindness, moments of connection, and the character's ability to see the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Right.
For example, in the night, the moonlight sprinkled stardust. The
Right.
magic comes from a gentle sprinkle of stardust that transforms the everyday world into something extraordinary.
It's like the stories are suggesting that magic doesn't require grand gestures. It's often found in the smallest details, the quiet moments, and the subtle shifts in perspective.
Exactly, and this subtle approach to magic makes it feel more relatable,
Right.
more attainable.
Yeah.
It encourages us to believe that magic isn't just something that happens in fairy tales. It's something that we can experience in our own lives if we just open ourselves up to the possibilities.
Okay, let's talk about the characters.
Okay.
I'm drawn to how they're not just cute and cuddly animals. They have their own personalities,
Yeah.
dreams and fears. They feel relatable even in their fantastical settings.
Absolutely. The characters are what truly bring these stories to life.
Yeah.
They're complex individuals with their own unique quirks and motivations. Take Stella the starfish, for instance.
Yeah.
She's driven by this desire for a wish-granting pearl,
Mm-hmm.
but she also learns a very valuable lesson about the importance of the journey and the connections we make along the way.
Her story reminds me of that quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Life is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the pursuit of goals that we forget to appreciate the experiences we have along the way.
That's a great point, and it's something that these stories remind us of again and again.
Right.
The characters often discover that the real treasures are the friendships they forge.
The challenges they overcome and the lessons they learn along the way.
It's like they're teaching us that the journey itself is the reward. And that's a valuable lesson no matter what age you are. It really is. And, one thing that keeps coming up for me as we discuss these stories is how they address these complex themes and emotions in such a subtle and accessible way.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes them so brilliant.
Yeah.
They manage to tackle these topics like fear, loneliness, the desire for connection,
Right.
without ever feeling heavy-handed.
For example, in the night the wind wove dreams into the clouds, the tiny dream that feels insignificant.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for those moments when we doubt ourselves and our abilities. It's a feeling that resonates with people of all ages.
Right.
And the story offers this gentle reminder that even the smallest dreams are worthy of being woven into the fabric of life.
Exactly. And the story doesn't just acknowledge that feeling of inadequacy.
Right.
It offers a solution.
It shows how the tiny dream, by embracing its unique qualities, ultimately finds its place among the other dreams.
It's a beautiful reminder that we all have something special to offer, even when we don't see it ourselves. And sometimes it takes a little encouragement from others to help us recognize our own worth.
This brings us to another key aspect of these stories, I think.
Okay.
The consistent emphasis on hope and possibility. Even when characters face challenges or setbacks, there's always this sense that things will work out, that there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
It's like they're reminding us that even in the darkest of nights, the stars are still shining above us,
Right.
guiding us toward a brighter tomorrow.
And they're doing it in a way that feels both authentic and inspiring.
Yeah.
They're not sugarcoating the challenges of life,
Right.
but they're also reminding us that we have the inner strength and resilience to overcome those challenges and emerge stronger on the other side.
I think one of the reasons these stories resonate so deeply is because they tap into our innate desire for connection, for meaning, and for a sense of wonder.
I agree. They remind us that even in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, there's still beauty to be found, magic to be experienced, and hope to be held on to.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into these 50 dreamy adventures,
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what stood out to you the most.
Well, for me, it's the reminder that even the simplest stories can hold these profound truths.
Right.
They have the power to transport us to other worlds, to teach us valuable lessons, and to remind us of the magic that exists within us and all around us.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and I think that's a beautiful takeaway for our listeners.
Yeah.
As you go about your day, remember to keep an eye out for the magic, the wonder, and the possibility that exists in every moment. And never underestimate the power of a good story to inspire uplift and remind us of what truly matters.